It's time to start up this series again, beautiful people. In this video, I'm going to bring you up to speed on where I am in my Alaska to Argentina trip, be your tour guide around the Yucatan Peninsula, and then show you my final few days riding in Mexico. But first, in July 2022, I flew to Alaska with the goal of cycling all the way down to Argentina, some 20,000 miles away. I dealt with issues as soon as I landed, losing my bike for over a month due to some German airlines. Once she arrived, my journey began. I started cycling from Dead Horse, Alaska, over the Dalton Highway, and then continued my journey into the Yukon, where I experienced my first encounters with grizzly bears. As I pushed south, I cycled on the Cassia Highway into British Columbia, where I made some amazing friends in Whistler and Vancouver, before heading over to Vancouver Island to explore. I then got the ferry back to the US, where I raced onward to San Francisco. And as I got deep into California, I made my first cycle touring friends. We cycled south together and split up just before Los Angeles, and I continued on heading into Mexico, where my pedal came off and I had to cycle one-legged for 500 miles. Once I fixed the pedal, I crossed the sea to mainland Mexico. From there, I headed southeast through Durango, Guanajuato, and Mexico City. And as I continued on, I had a life-changing experience with a family in Oaxaca. They'd organized a police escort for me and asked me to speak at their school. After this experience, I found myself on the coast of Oaxaca with 2,000 kilometers to cover and only 12 days to ride it in order to arrive into Cancun in time to see my mum. That was just a whistle-stop tour of the journey so far, and if you do want to revisit any of those adventures, please go back on the YouTube playlist and watch them through. A quick spoiler alert, I did make it in time to see my mum, and this episode will show you some of the highlights from the 2 weeks I spent with her. I did ask if she wanted to cycle tour with me, but she declined on that, so you just have to put up with us in a rental car for this video. I'm at the airport because my mum is coming to visit me. She's running. That was my least favourite, so that's so good. So our plan of attack was pretty simple. We wanted to do a big loop of the Yucatan Peninsula and visit Tulum, Valladolid, Chichen Itza, Merida, and finally Holbox. So we picked up a rental car in Cancun, and after a few days resting on the beaches of Tulum, we got ready to start our mini adventure. Right, Mama.
Yes, son.
This is our first adventure.
In the ruins of Tulum.
And we're about to go and explore. You ready, Mum?
I'm ready.
Exploring the Mayan ruins of this Mexican peninsula was a big reason why we had decided to come here. Tulum ruins are a great entry point, with the ancient wind-battered buildings contrasting heavily against the luscious palm trees and the azul blue sea. We also headed across to a temple complex called Balam. We are in Balam. Balam means sun jaguar in Mayan. It is very quiet, which is lovely. Kind of feel like you've got it to yourself a little bit. The complex was a lot less touristy than Tulum, and it felt like you were exploring in the jungle rather than visiting an ancient ruin. This may have explained why Mum plucked up the courage to conquer her fear of heights. You gotta make it. We are climbing the main temple complex now. Mum isn't the best for heights. Climbing up won't be a problem. Coming down might be, Mum?
Are you filming my bottom?
Not your bottom, filming my face. Where are we, Mum? Why? As I guessed, descending was the problem. This might take a while, eh? This is the tightest hand I've gripped in a while. A firmer handshake than most men at this point, Mum.
Oh God, James, why did I say yes to this?
A few days after, we then visited the world wonder that is Chichen Itza. Having visited a few other ancient sites, Mum and I were a bit apprehensive about Chichen Itza and how busy it would be. So we made sure to arrive super early, but the crowds had already started pouring in. It is one of those attractions that you immediately understand why it's so popular. This is the temple of Kukulkan, the main god in the Mayan culture. In Teotihuacan, staring at the main moon pyramid was just crazy. You just can't stop looking at it, and it's the same here. The further away you get from it, the more your eyes are drawn to it. You always seem to turn around and just start looking at this. It's been fully restored on two sides, so it's absolutely stunning. That's why people are having the pictures done. But what's more interesting to me is this side, which is how it was found. I think they've left this side unrestored, so you can see there's no snake heads at the bottom of the stairs. There was a running theme of all of our ruin explorations, though, that had nothing to do with the buildings, temples, or culture. Yeah, now all my fans can see where my love of dogs comes from. We made a dog friend again. Recurring theme.
You are. You're a good girl. Oh, yeah, is that nice? Is that nice? Is that it? Do you want more? Okay. Okay. I'm hooked.
Of course, after a hot few hours in the sun exploring all of these ruins, it's necessary to find somewhere to go and cool down. And the Yucatan Peninsula potentially has the best way ever for you to do that. They're called cenotes. These are underground freshwater cave systems, which in ancient times provided a freshwater source for people to drink from.
Mama can't hear very well, she's got her hearing aids out, and this is the deepest water that she's ever been in, so she's out of her depth.
In current times though, they are a big tourist hit. As well as being incredibly refreshing, the water is so cold. They're also breathtakingly beautiful and made me feel like I was in a Lara Croft game or film. I of course had to give the rope swing a go, leaning into the Lara Croft feeling.
You're gonna go for it? Go on man, you go for it. Hello little fishes. Hello little fishes. Wow. Oh god, I just realised you can feel the air. That was a big splash.
You want to go?
What, jump? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not.
And of course, after long days exploring and swimming, you need to rest and recover. And what better way to do that than some food?
Right, Madre, what have we got?
Food and
I took great pride in showing Mum the cuisine of Yucatan. I was absolutely in love with the food in Mexico, and I'd done a lot of research into the local cuisine.
We have panuchos. This is longaniza de Valladolid, which is a very famous dish in Valladolid. We've got Mum's first taste of horchata, and we have escabeche de pollo, Mum's first taste of traditional Mexican cuisine. This is my favorite drink. You don't like it?
Yo.
Oh, rude. My favorite. Let's go. You want to take that one? Let's go chicken. So you got beans on the top, red onion, shredded chicken. Now, mixing all of that together with a bit of lime juice brings it all together. That's really good. Beautiful.
Are you ready?
That's good. Nice. Last up is longaniza.
You're going to have a bite of that on your own?
That's good.
I don't think I've ever had a sausage like that dish before.
Don't tell Dad. The best sausage you ever had?
I'm not saying this, but it may be used against me in further material. I don't like sausages at home very much, do I?
Dad?
With a lot of the ruins and cenotes explored, Mum and I took a few days off to rest and relax in Merida, the capital of the Yucatan and a city with a huge amount of influence from the Spanish. After resting there, we headed over to the Ruta de las Flamingos.
What we're going to see there? Flamingos! And what are we on? There it is! Woohoo, baby!
We fell completely in love with the wildlife here. We were a little underwhelmed by the pink lakes from an eye level, so we drove back once we'd hit dry land and took a look with the eye in the sky. And I can say the drone definitely helped us to appreciate its beauty from the air. With our major exploring done for the journey, we headed up to Holbox to spend a few days on the beach. And on the way, I seemed to contract some form of illness. Instead of relaxing in the sun and going swimming, I spent most of the time lying in bed. With the one upside being we had managed to adopt a local pet who did creep in the room and come and lay down with me. I felt slightly better after a few days, and so we returned to Cancun. Now I was feeling better, it was great to spend a final few days just relaxing with Mum before our final dinner, where I introduced Mum to a Latin American staple.
Where are we, Madre?
We are having our last evening meal together. At the moment we've got cocktails. Cheers.
What are you doing?
What am I doing? I'm kicking your ass at cards, mate.
That's my mum, people. And I can't lie, she is. She's got ceviche and some fish tacos. Have you ever had ceviche before?
No.
Mum's first taste of ceviche.
It was lovely.
Let's have a taste.
You've had it before.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you have it?
Batiste introduced it to me.
With our final meal in the books, we headed to the airport again the following day for an even more emotional goodbye.
I love you.
Take your shoe and back.
Oh, that was a sad, emotional goodbye. Big goodbye. By the time I see her again, the challenge should be over. I'll have cycled all the way down to Ushuaia.
With Mum on the flight home though, that meant only one thing: the bike ride continued. I had around 500 kilometers to cover to get to the Belize border, and so I set off from my friend's house with a few new supplies, reinvigorated after a few weeks off. The riding was definitely not that inspiring, just cycling along highways, but some of the camp spots I managed to find were just incredible. And I even managed to see some wildlife that I'd been trying to find for ages.
That was a coyote, just gone in there. That was so cool. Called a coyote. It's like a raccoon, but with a longer nose and almost like a squirrel-like tail.
As the kilometers ticked down, I arrived into my final camp spot in Balam, with its beautiful and tranquil lagoons. This final camp spot will be etched in my mind forever. It was stunningly beautiful, even down to the soundscape of birds that were playing. And this final spot made me incredibly emotional as I looked back on my time in Mexico.
So this is it, my last night in Mexico. Weird feeling. At the current moment, it's the country I've spent the most time on in my trip. It's been about 4 months. Weirdly emotional about leaving. I think I was getting this way before a border. Everybody gets a bit nervous, but it's a new feeling to be emotional, I think. When I left America and went into Mexico, it was nerves, it was the unknown. And now I've been here, new family that I've met, people that have taken me in along the way. It's just been absolutely astounding, and I almost don't want to leave. It's the nature of the trip. Hellos and goodbyes all at the same time. It's been emotional. Mexico, thank you for having me. Thank you for every family that has taken me in, and thank you for looking after me.
It's almost been 2 years since I filmed this, and despite my best efforts to keep up with the editing on the trip and get these videos out, I just didn't have the energy to do so. I thought once I returned it would be incredibly easy to then edit, but with lots of different priorities and goals, it's just hit the back burner, and I found it difficult to dedicate the time. However, I am committed to finishing this series off, for you the audience and for myself, as well as consistently posting other events and adventures that I'm doing. So expect a new video for this series every couple of weeks. If you did like this video and if you want to see more, please like and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching, good luck riding, and I'll see you on the trails. Schmiles.